Hello everyone, my name is Jeffrey. Welcome back for episode 2 of the Satisfactory series here on YouTube. A quick recap of last time, we got our basic copper, iron, and concrete lines set up. Today is a big day building the space elevator and even our first baby factory. Thank you for all the great feedback on the first video. Any comments are welcome down below. Now let's jump right into it. So to start the episode off, we've updated our to-do list as you can see here on the side. Let me look at something dark so you can read it better. We've got the first thing I want to do, which is add storage to all our machines that I didn't do last time. That was a big mistake on my part. Then we're going to move on to building the space elevator. We're going to go find that cast screws recipe for one of the crashed ship pods. We're going to add some more power. We're going to work on some reinforced iron plates. We're going to explore a little bit, maybe find a couple more power slugs so we can overclock some machines and work on milestone prep for the next episode, where I believe we're going to be working our way in towards coal power, so that we don't have to waste any more of our time running around picking up biomass all the time. So we're just going to run around quick and stick a storage on the end of each one of these constructors. So we're going to need, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 storage containers to start us off. So we're going to need 60 iron plates and 60 iron rods, and I've already gathered all of those. We're going to storage container out the front of this one. Make sure the orange input is facing the output of the constructor back there. We'll put a Mark 1 belt in between the two. Now we're just going to do the same for each one. Oh, these did not line up. Oops. Try that again. There we are. Okay, so we got a box of screws, we got a box of rods, and we got a box of plates. Alright, so we have a storage container on every constructor now. We've got one for copper wire, we've got one for our cables, we've got one for our concrete down there, and 3 in total for our iron. I ended up needing 1 more in total to finish it off. I believe that was 9 total storage boxes. Okay, let's get that ticked off the to-do list. Everybody has storage. The next thing we're going to build is the space elevator. So we're going to go to special space elevator. We're going to add a plus symbol to see what we're missing. We're missing iron plates. So we're going to run over to the storage here. Take all those. We are ready to build our space elevator. I'm going to try it. It is quite large, so you're going to have to find a big open space to put it down for now. You can always move it later. And I certainly will. So there is our massively large space elevator, and this is actually one of the coolest build animations in the game, I think, so we're going to make sure we watch this. So in total, you're going to need 500 concrete, 250 iron plates, 400 iron rods, and 1,500 copper wire. And just letting your machines run for a little bit should fill up your storage boxes, no problem. If you're ever looking to hide the HUD, you can press P for photo mode, and then your middle mouse button will take away the HUD. Here it comes down from the sky. And it's locked in. Down comes the platform. And then just press P again to go out of photo mode. Everything comes back. Okay, now that we got our space elevator, we've unlocked the new objective, complete phase 1, which is going to be get 50 smart plating. We're actually going to need assemblers for that, as you're going to need to feed 2 ingredients into 1. But first we can cross space elevator off the to-do list. Alright, moving on to our third objective. We've got our find cast screws recipe, so we're going to head on over to another crash site. I believe there's another one off in this direction. If you go far enough, you're going to end up in a pink forest. And just on the edge of that pink forest should be another crash ship, and I believe I need only screws to open it up, so let's head on over there right now. Okay, so here we are at the edge of the pink forest. We go ahead and hit M to open our map. You can see I'm just above this little horseshoe rock formation. And a good marker to know you're in the right spot is you'll see these 2 balloon plants right in front of you. Now we're going to go just right over this hill. Make sure we have our Xeno Zapper ready, as there are going to be 2 of the hogs ready to attack us again. Let's deal with them quickly. Ouch. Sir? Oh, 2 at once. Here we go. Just jump over the one. Try and focus the one. Never mind. Give him a couple bonks. Jump over this guy. Getting hit by that guy. Try and jump. Oh, we're trying not to die. Jump over that guy. He's dead. And now that one's dead too. So we're going to go ahead and pick up their hog remains. We're going to need those for researching in the MAM. And now we should be free and clear to check out this crash site. So we got some free copper wire. Ooh, we got some circuit boards. Those are going to come into play in a little bit. Some more copper wire. Some more copper wire. Some more copper wire. Might as well grab the leaves too. We're going to need the biofuel for now. Just make sure there's nothing else we're missing. Ooh, we got some more circuit boards over here. I believe that was everything. So now we're just going to go ahead and open this drop pod, which just takes 12 screws to open. I'm currently carrying 1,132. We're just going to go ahead and take that hard drive. Now an easy little trick you can do to start your research in the MAM is if you can build it out in the middle of nowhere. You throw your hard drive in. Start hard drive scan. We're actually just going to dismantle it, and it's actually going to keep researching in the background as we head back to base. So on our way back, we're going to want to grab some more biomass to make sure we can keep our machines fueled, as we're actually be adding a little bit more here. Just make sure you're grabbing all the leaves, any wood. Head back to the forest on our way back, just on the other side of that arch. And I'll see you guys when we get back. Okay, back from our adventure, we managed to grab another 245 wood, another 700 plus leaves, and then I also just unloaded every machine I passed on the way by. I also found a tiny little quartz and a little tiny sulfur rock that I busted open, and we're going to use those for research here pretty soon. So now we're just going to head on over to the MAM, and we're going to throw in some more milestones finished off, as we've got quite a bit of materials to use. You can actually send off more than one at once, and I'll show you guys how. We're going to throw in the 100 iron plates, the 200 concrete, and the 100 iron rods. And before we actually hit the launch pod button, we're going to go back to select milestone. We're going to go to tier 2, and we're going to select parts assembly. We're going to select that as well, so it gives us the assembler that we're going to need. We're going to need rotors and the smart plating that's going to finally get us that phase 1 completed. And we're also going to be looking to upgrade to Logistics Mark II, getting us Conveyor Belt Mark IIs, so we can finally upgrade all of our basic factories. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select part assembly, which we're going to need 200 cable, 200 iron rods, 500 screws, and 300 iron plates. I'm going to have to go grab a couple. Make sure our power levels are okay still. Good timing. So we're going to go grab some biomass out of our personal storage box here. Top everyone up really quick. So we'll put 90 in there. That should be able to flip back on. Nope. Actually ran out of fuel in multiple. Click that back on. And then give 50 each. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is make sure we get a bunch of biofuel ready for our power. Alright, that should be more than enough biofuel to last us for now. Let's just go ahead and top all these up. And the memory search for the hard drive is also complete now. We're going to cross our fingers for those cast screws. And there it is. We've got our cast screws recipe, turning iron ingots directly into screws at a rate of 50 per minute. I'm going to confirm that. If you got it in the first episode, obviously you can skip this whole step. So let's go ahead and check that off our list. Now we're going to finish off our parts assembly. Give it the iron plates that it needs. And we'll just go back to milestone one more time. I should be able to fill obstacle clearing, which will upgrade our biofuel and unlock the chainsaw for cutting down trees. Also gives us some more inventory slots. So we'll select that as well. Throw in our 500 screws, 100 cables, and 100 concrete. Go back to milestone one more time. We're going to add logistics mark 2. We should be able to put these together really quick. So I just need 200 concrete, 300 iron rods, and 300 iron plates. So we'll throw the concrete in now for what rods and plates we have in. And so now I just need to go get another 260 iron rods, more iron plates, and I need to put together reinforced iron plates. So we're going to have to go get some screws as well. Alright, now that I've got all our materials, we're just going to go ahead and send off all these rockets at the same time.
Milestone reached. Improved versions of conveyor belts and conveyor lifts are now accessible. To encourage additional verticality, conveyor poles now have a stackable variant.
So before we can consider adding more pieces to the factory, we're going to have to add ourselves more power because we're only 10 megawatts below our actual maximum. We're going to use some foundations to finally clean this place up a little bit. So we're going to start with 4-meter foundations, as it should sit above the grass. We're going to hit control. That's actually going to snap us to the world grid, so that if you use the world grid, you can build anywhere on the map and your factory should be able to connect up with each other. So we're going to start with a 3x3 box. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and then same for this way. Now there are different build modes as well. I just built in default mode. Now if you hit R, it'll take you into zoom mode, so you can build stretch out in any direction, and it'll do up to 10 at a time. Or you can do vertical mode, where you click once and scroll up or down, and you can go vertical. Okay, so we've got our 3x3 platform here. We're going to build some more biomass burners. Go to power, biomass burner. We're going to start off by building 3 extra ones. It'll give us an extra 90 megawatts of power to play with. Actually, you know what? Let's just make it 4. That gives us 120 megawatts to play with. Nice and even. Okay, so it looks like we already have everything for putting them together. We're going to put 1 here. Two, 3, and where did these line up? Right on the edge. Okay. So 4. Usually that green line is to tell you you're in line with something else. So there we Now the other thing we want to take care of is now that we've unlocked solid biofuel, we want to turn all our biomass into solid biofuel. And we could do it by hand, but it's going to take a really long time. So instead of doing that, we're going to make an extra constructor. We'll just throw it there for now, connect it up to our power line. Set this to make solid biofuel. And I should actually make a chest that'll feed into this to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to go organization. We'll put one on the entrance and one on the end. So this box will feed it. And I put it in a terrible spot, so I'll just have to put the storage container here. And this is where we'll be able to pull the solid biofuel out of. So we'll throw all our biomass into here. You hold down control and click on this once, it'll move all of that item across your inventory. So there we go. We're getting 60 solid biofuel per minute. This is much, much faster than if you were to do it by hand. So while we wait for that to finish up, we're going to add some power poles in here. It's okay if the yellow comes up, it's soft clipping. It actually makes the use of, keeps things a lot cleaner. So we're going to connect each of these up to the power poles. Connect the power poles together. I'm actually going to connect this over to here. So I'm going to take this power line off. Connect that to there. And that way this one can be connected to this pole right here. So now we're just going to feed these some solid biofuel. Should give us a total of 120 megawatts of power more on top of what we were already making. Okay, we've got all four of those hooked up for now. So we're going to go ahead and check off add more power from our to-do list. So now we're going to move on to making a reinforced iron plate setup. So we can automate those, as we're going to be making use of a lot of that going forward. They're used for Mark II conveyor belts. They're used for all the constructors that we make. I mean, they're used for a lot of things. So we're going to try and get a full line set up for that, making as many as we can from what we've got right now. And now that we can make the conveyor belt Mark II, we can move 120 resources per minute. So we're actually going to combine these two Miner Mark Is together, as they each give us 60 per minute. We're going to turn that into 120 per minute to feed our reinforced iron plates line. So we're going to try and set this up to do 10 reinforced iron plates per minute. You're going to need roughly about a 13 by 5 platform area. So we're going to go ahead and mark that out right now. Okay, so I've got my 13 by 5 platform set up. It is actually quite a tight squeeze, so you're just going to want to start pretty much right beside, almost a little bit on top of the one iron node here. You're going to 1 back, and then just going to be 13 along here and 5 in this direction. I'll have to move this storage box at some point because it is clipping into this part. And then there's only one tree that we're going to have to cut down. So in order to cut down the tree, we're going to need a chainsaw. Okay, so for a chainsaw, we're going to need 5 reinforced iron plates. We have the rods, we have the screws, and we have the cables. So we're just going to go ahead and hand make 5 more reinforced iron plates. There we go. Chainsaw. Okay, so now gathering biofuel should be a lot more efficient. The only thing you're going to make sure you equip the chainsaw, and then you're also going to make sure you have fuel for it. And I believe the only fuel you can actually use, the most basic fuel you can use, is solid biofuel. So make sure we have some solid biofuel on us before we go fuel up the machines. We're just going to go ahead and chop this tree down over here. And I'm actually just going to cut down a couple more just so we have some extra wood we can feed in for some extra biofuel. So if you cut down a tree, all the bushes around it should go as well. Okay. That should be enough, and our 13x5 platform is now nice and empty. So I'm just going to run and turn this into biofuel, and then I'm going to go over what we're going to need for laying out our reinforced iron plate factory. You could make a constructor that turns the leaves and wood into biomass first, but honestly it makes it so fast by hand I don't bother. So we'll throw all our biomass into there. We'll split the biofuel we have actually. So split that in half. Split them all into 50s. And everybody gets a stack of 50. This one's actually empty. This was not running on solid biofuel before. Take the biomass out of there. And we'll leave these two running on biomass for now. They seem to be doing okay. Everyone else is running on solid biofuel for now. Okay. So everything in there is all fine and good to go. And just before we move on to reinforced iron plates, I'd like to do a few more researches in the MAM really quick. So let's grab our hog remains, our flower petals, raw quartz, and our sulfur. And head over to the MAM here. We're going to start with quartz. Open up this tree. You only need 10 to start off the first research. Now we can see some of the next things we're going to be unlocking, which are the blade runners, which are going to be super key for moving around a lot faster than we are right now. However, we're going to need a bunch more quartz, and we're also going to need some modular frames, which we currently don't have any of. We'll also go into the sulfur tree here. Same one, you only need 10 to start it off. And now you can actually see we can make black powder. We can make the Nobelisk detonator, which we can't actually make Nobelisks yet. I believe Nobelisks are about, they're either, they might be here actually. But we can use those to actually blow up any rocks that are in our way. You can use it to clear giant rocks that are blocking resource nodes, and the other best part about it is you can actually use them to blow up the poison cloud stacks, freeing up any area that has poison clouds in it. So I don't think we'll get to any of that in this episode. We're going to make sure we get our reinforced iron plate set up. We're going to do a little bit more exploring, find some more power slugs, and then make sure we get our milestone prep done for the next episode so we can jump into coal as soon as possible. So personally, when I'm designing layouts for my factory, I like to use satisfactorycalculator.com. You can go over here to outputs. We're going to go to add an item where you can scroll through anything in the game that you need to make. We're going to be doing reinforced iron plates. We're hoping for 10 per minute. Now, the other thing we need to make sure we add, it may look very complicated, but it's actually a lot simpler than this. We're going to go to options. We're going to make sure we select the cast screw recipe, which is I've already selected. And that is the layout for reinforced iron plates. You can actually see if you need to underclock or overclock any of your constructors, any of your machines that need to be underclocked or overclocked. You can see how many units you need to be sending in each direction. And it's quite easy to follow along. Okay, so it looks like we're going to need 6 constructors, 2 assemblers, 4 smelters, 2 storage bins. We're going to need 8 mergers, 7 splitters. We're also going to need some conveyor lifts and some conveyor belts. So you're going to need some reinforced iron plates, normal iron plates, and that should be everything. Okay, so I'm back with everything I need, and I grabbed some extra reinforced iron plates that we're going to need for Mark II conveyor belts. So we're going to start off in the second row in the first column. We're going to start putting down our smelters. We have 4 smelters. Make sure they're facing the right way. The orange should be towards me. And I'm going to stick them right in the middle with their bottom feet touching the 2 gray dark ledges. You can actually press H and you can hold it in place so you can check to where you're putting it down. So the back feet should be touching this front line. The front feet should be just hanging over the 2 of them, hanging over the grate. So we'll go 1. Same spot, using control to snap on the line. 2. 3. And 4. We're going to go ahead and set all those to do iron ingots. So now we're going to want to take our splitters, and I try and aim them right into the middle of our foundations here. So right about here. But you can see the colors coming out the side. Orange is your entrance and green is your output. So we're going to want the input facing off towards the back here, facing it this way. And the entrance should line up with those. Now we're going to hold down control to snap these in. But we're going to want the input actually coming from the other splitter facing these ways. There's the third one. And the fourth one we actually don't have to do. Fourth one can actually just be done as a conveyor belt. In order to get a nice perfect 90-degree right turn, you're going to go line up like this. You're going to go back by 2. And this is going to work for everything every time. Rule of 2. 1, 2. Put that there. Perfect. So now we're just going to go ahead and link all these up. Oh, this one actually didn't line up properly. We'll fix that. H to make sure it's in the correct position. We can line that up there and that up there. Now we're actually going to need Mark II conveyor belts between the splitters of the first, second, and third smelter. So we're going to do the logistics conveyor belt Mark II. That one there. And there. So basically what we've set up just now is a very simple manifold line. And what a manifold line is a fancy term for feeding all 4 or however many machines you're going to feed all at once with a single line splitting. Okay, so what we've just made is actually a very simple manifold line. And I'm not smart enough to know what a manifold actually means. However, I usually use these to set up to completely fill my machines. And the way they work is you have to be feeding it enough that it can back up into every single machine. And it should always be full. It'll never run out. As long as you're feeding, this is going to be 30 per minute. So it's going to need 120 iron ore per minute. As long as I'm always feeding 120 iron ore per minute, it should feed these machines no problem. They just need to be coming in fast enough that all the machines can get fed fast enough. Because the way splitters work, it's a 50-50 split. So when it comes in here, it's going to split 50% of them into here and 50% off this way. Now, once this machine actually gets backed up, it'll start passing more down this way and more down the lines that actually fills up. Hopefully that does a good enough job of explaining how manifolds work. If not, maybe I'll try and throw a Google definition of what manifolds are on screen right now. Anyway, moving on. So let's put a merger back here. It's not going to be the cleanest thing. We're just going to try and line it up. So we're going to put a merger back here. I'm going to grab one more foundation. I'm going to pump it right there. I'm going to get my merger. I don't want the green arrow to be facing towards me here. Now, these inputs are certainly not going to be the cleanest for now, but I can try and get them somewhat decent. Oh, no, I don't like that at all. I try not to have things clip when I can. Okay, so let's Let's actually do it like this. So we'll start one like that, and then like that. Much better. Okay, so now, since this is going to be 60 and this is going to be 60, I'm going to need a Mark II belt coming out of here to feed 120 into our manifold system. So that's the very basics of a starter manifold system right there. Now you will definitely want to let these fill up before you start the rest of the lines, as if you don't, it'll take a really long time for it to balance itself out and get a nice clean line of power usage. So next, we're going to place down our constructors. We're going to need 3 doing iron plates. So we're going to go with this one. I'm going to put the feet right on. There we go. I'm going to put the feet so they sit right at the ledge there. We go 1, 2, 3. And those should line up perfectly with each smelter. So we'll connect those in together. Make sure they're all set up perfectly. Okay, now I'm going to remove these for now, just so when I hook this up to power, I forget that part. Okay. And then just make sure all of these are set to do iron plates at 100%. So each one will be receiving 30 iron ingot per minute and pumping out 20 iron plates per minute. So now in the 7th row, working our way down, we're going to put 3 more constructors. One there, and one there. And these are all going to be set to our alternate cast screw recipe. With the last one in the line, we're going to down to 40%. And it's only going to make 20 per minute. Twelve and a half. It's 25. And 30. So the reason we're going to underclock this last one is so that we only actually need 30 iron ingots per minute. So we have 12 and a half, 12 and a half is 25, and 5 is 30. So we're going to do the same for this line here. We're going to make a little manifold system. We're going to put 1 splitter . So we're going to build a couple more manifold systems, and as you can see, I ran out of iron plates, so we're just going to run and go grab those really quick. Grab a good 400 of those. Hop back up here. So we're going to put our splitter in with the input coming from the back. That should be lined up with the machine in front of it. It is. Sometimes it's a little difficult to see the green line. You'll have to move around a little bit. Now we're going to rotate this so that the input's coming in from the right. We're going to line up these 2 machines here. And then on the end again, we don't need it. You can just make it as a single line, back 2. And a perfect 90-degree turn. So we're just going to hook these up, Mark 1 belts. This is never going to be moving more than 60 at a time, so this whole thing can be set up with Mark 1 belts. So we're just going to bring this down and using our scroll wheel to actually turn it in a 90-degree turn. We're going to put that one there. Back 2. And there we go. So now this smelter will feed the 30 iron ingots that will be needed for these machines. Okay, and then we're going to want to combine these three constructors together. So in order to do that, we're going to use mergers. We're going to use the orange as the input on this one, and the green is the output. So we're going to make sure the output's facing away towards the first constructor over there. And we're going to need another one here. We're going to turn the output facing towards us, going back out this way. And then we'll connect those all up with Mark 1 belts. Now this is never moving more than 60, so we can use the Mark 1 belts for this as well. Now, coming down here, we can put on our final 2 assemblers. And if you line the left input hole up with the output of this constructor, it should come together nice and clean. So I'm gonna put one there. And then I'll go right next to it. So now we're gonna have to put in 2 more manifold lines for each of these. And each machine is gonna have to be fed. So our output here is going to be 120 screws per minute. So we're going to be using Mark II belts here. So in order to do this, we're going to put down a merger in front of the first constructor here, with the output going towards the assembler. Just like that. This can be a Mark 1 belts can feed out from the machines. A merger here as well, facing off to the right. Rule of 2s. And you return into there. Mark 1 belt into there. And this is where we'll have to switch to the Mark II belt. I actually need more reinforced iron plates. So let's go throw together a couple of those really quick. And by the time we're done this, we won't have to make them anymore. Okay, back with our reinforced iron plates. We're going to connect this up conveyor belt Mark II. And from here, wait, it doesn't match up at all. Sorry, I've actually messed up here. There we go. Okay, so you want to set up the one on the right to line up with this hole. So we're going to go one there. And then one there. Okay, so from here, we're going to hit this with a splitter. We're going to go 6 on our hotbar, with the input coming from where we currently are. We'll put this right in the middle. We're going to put a Mark II belt in between those. And then a Mark I belt feeding each machine. It can be hard to do this part, so we'll actually do it this way. 1, 2. Okay, so both these machines are now getting fed the amount of screws they're going to need. Set these up to do reinforced iron plates. They require 60 screws per minute. And we are feeding them exactly 120. Now to bring the iron plates over, we're actually going to use some lifts to keep this nice and clean. So we're going to go conveyor belt Mark lift. Oh, sorry. These just need to be 1s. So the input is facing into the machine. And I want the output facing toward away from the machine towards me. Do the same on this one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a splitter here. But we're going to move it up, make sure it's facing the right direction. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. That's in the wrong spot. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. Then we can delete these bottom two. And that should be connected in. You may have to add a little, depending on how close you can get it, you may have to add a little conveyor belt between there. Just use Mark 1. Now, same for this one. We're just going to go like this. We're going to connect that up to here, and it should be a nice 90-degree turn for us. It is not. Why is that? Okay, so you know what I'll do is I'll just add another splitter. We're gonna have to do this in a weird way, so you just give me a second. There we go, those are linked up. Conveyor belt, oops. Conveyor belt Mark 1 in there. Connect that back up. Connect those two together. Okay, so now we're going to need to set up another lift. Conveyor belt Mark 1. Just needed to snap into the... There we go. So we're going to turn the input towards us. And the output that way. So that now snaps in together. And I'm realizing that if we swap these, so we take this merger away and this merger away, and we make it so they actually face like this. That one faces towards me. This actually doesn't even need a merger. I don't know why I thought it did. Connect to you not like that. Our rule of 2. That should be fine. I'm just going to reconnect these just because sometimes it gives me an issue of like, you put in a merger, it doesn't actually connect even though it says it is. So connect those in there. And then if we feed this line straight there, I also just realized I did this as a mistake. These are not facing the correct directions. I don't think. If I did that and they were fine, then, oh, my mistake. Yeah, so we want to reverse because we want them to come down. So we're going to go like that. This is hard to tell sometimes. So it's reversed. There we go. That may have actually been my clipping issue that I was having before. And I don't think I'll actually need conveyor belts in between the two now. Yep. Okay, so those clipped in properly. Those are feeding everything correctly. So now on the end, I want another merger. We're going to line it up with this machine, facing off to the right. Do the same thing we normally do, going back to perfect 90-degree turn. These are just conveyor belt Mark 1s. And then, because like I said, we do end up using quite a bit of these, we're going to put down 2 storage containers. Actually, we'll put down our splitter first, so it's nice and clean. So 6 for a splitter. And then we'll do our storage containers. Okay, so it looks like I'm aiming for like middles. And we'll go like that. Put the entrance... Oh, that one's in the wrong spot. My bad. Try that again. There you go. Okay, so the feet... Oh, is this one in the wrong spot too? It is. Messed up both of them. So have your little feet sitting right on the ledge there. Mark one belt to feed the splitter. It's real close, but it works. You're back to... Okay, and then we got 2 storage containers. It'll be fed from this. I could have done this a much simpler. Here, well, let's not do it this way. Let's rewind back a little bit. Storage container right here. Perfect. And then now if we need a third one, we can add a third one. So that is the reinforced iron plate setup. We're just gonna have to add power, and it seems that I added an extra conveyor merger where I didn't need to in this list, but I also didn't add the lifts, so I apologize for that. But okay, everything should be all set up now, and now we just need to add a whole bunch of power poles. I like to add them more power poles than you'll actually need. It's just going to keep your power nice and clean. And I try and always, you'll see the hookup for your machines. I try and do it so you get a nice clean line like that. And then we'll just hook all those together. For these ones, I might be able to squeeze the power poles in between. Perfect. This is where soft clipping is actually quite nice. Can be a little tricky sometimes though. Here we go, soft clip that in. And then one just off the edge here, which means I'm gonna move this one too. Might as well be all lined up, right? That can actually be how I connect these. Go like that. Oh, I'm too short. I can't get back up. There we go. Crouch, slide, jump. Okay, so we connect those together. So we can actually get rid of this one. Actually, no, I'll use that one. Oops. So we'll keep that one. This is where I'm saying you build extra power poles to make it pretty. So along the line here, so we're gonna add more. Come on. Get in there. You can do it. There. I guess the closer you get, the easier it's going to be. So that's for that one. That's for that one. That's for that one. Now for our assemblers. Put one there. One there. And how do we bring it over? Probably like this. So let's connect those up together. Connect that line over here. Those are powered. Power our constructors. And then link everything together. From this line that line. So we've got nice clean power lines. Now, the only thing I want to do is I'm actually going to sever this connection for now. And what that's going to allow me to do is get this all backed up first so that we can maintain 100% efficiency in this line. Oop, a little bit of lag there from the autosave. So let's add in our power for our two. This part's not going to be quite as clean, but we'll clean this up a little bit later. This is very much going to be a temporary factory. It will stick around for quite a while, though. Okay, so let's say this is the main power pole for the whole factory. You cut this off, this whole thing's cut off. Right? Right. Okay. So, now if I just connect these, it shouldn't use too much of our power. Let's double check in actually. Oh, we got plenty. We have a capacity of 220. However, obviously I haven't hooked up the rest of this factory yet, so. But we'll let these machines get backed up, and then we'll turn the rest of it on. But while we're waiting, we can go ahead and take reinforced iron plates set up off the list. So you're going to see these start to fill up. These are going to flicker on and off for the first little bit. You can actually make it a little bit easier on yourself. If you have like the raw material and you just want to fill them up, you can certainly skip this step of waiting, but it shouldn't take too, it should be only a couple minutes to fill up these 4 machines. So everything's flowing nice and smoothly. As we wait for those to fill up, let's go check on some of our other milestones that we can do. We got jump pads. I'm not going to worry about too much just yet, but the resource sink program is going to be what we want to do next. So we're going to select milestone. We're going to need 400 concrete, 500 copper wire, 200 rods, and 200 iron plates. So I obviously have a lot of wire on me at the moment. We can throw the rods in there as well as the plates, and we'll go grab the rest of that to finish that up. Grab ourselves some more concrete, of which we have plenty. I actually made a mistake last time too. I forgot to tell you guys. The node over here is an impure node, and that's why we had to overclock the machine. There is actually a normal limestone node right over here. So if you just want to set up that same thing over here with just a miner mark 1 into a constructor into a storage, you shouldn't have to worry about overclocking at all in this one. Okay, now we've basically got every milestone done except for jump pads before we unlock our space elevator phase 1. So I think what I'm going to do now is we're going to do a little bit of exploring the map, see if we can find some Caterium, which is another ore we're going to need for researching. We're going to grab some more power slugs. Maybe we'll come across some more crash sites. Anything cool that we come across, I'll kind of throw into a little bit of a highlight montage here. So I'll see you guys when we get back. say, I think I'm trapped in here, aren't I? Whoopsie. Okay, well, since I died, let me just power this power this factory up. There we go. This one's not connected. There we go. Okay, resume the adventure. Alright, we interrupt this montage to bring you this nifty little trick. With the pigs that charge at you, just find a cliff edge, stand on it, wait for him to charge up, jump out of the way at the very last second, and see you later. And he's gone. It's a nice easy trick. Okay, back to the adventure. Alright, back from our little exploration, we managed to find so a little bit more Caterium, a little bit more sulfur. Sorry. Alright, back from our little exploration, we managed to find 6 more blue power slugs. I found 2 yellow power slugs, 21 more sulfur, and I found 22 Caterium, so we can finally start that in the research tree. That is Caterium right here. Just 10 to start it off. And I can't remember which one it is, if it's sulfur or quartz. Or sorry, I think it's... Yeah, actually it's Caterium. So when we can get a little bit further down through Caterium, one of the most important things we're going to be looking for is a smart splitter. But that'll be a good handful of episodes from now. For now, we can finish researching our nutrients. I also ended up finding another, as you guys saw, I found another crash site that we couldn't open, but I did get some free modular frames, reinforced iron plates, and a couple other things. So I'm just going to throw most of this in storage for now until we can make use of it. And as you can tell, our power also died on the way there, so we're going to have to throw together some more solid biofuel. Okay, so I'm just going to mark off explore and power slugs from our checklist here. Oops. There we go. Now, before we just finish off our milestone prep for the next episode, I better go around and grab just a little bit more stuff for power. so we got a little bit of biofuel. Now I'm going to... Oh, okay. Okay, so we're back and we got some biofuel loaded up being made. So now I'm going to make an extra assembler. So I'm going to put it right here for now. You can see what we need for smart plating. So for smart plating, we need one rotor and one rotor on one reinforced iron plate. It's 2 per minute. So I'm actually going to just feed this manually to get this finished for now. And we'll set up an actual factory a little bit later on. So 50 rotors should be pretty easy, and we definitely already have the 50 reinforced plates. So we're just going to hand make the oh no. Problems? That should fill those enough for now. We'll get that back up and running. Okay, so we'll throw the reinforced iron plates in here. And we'll just go hand make a few rotors. Okay, that only took me a few minutes. Honestly, I would say set up this assembler first and make rotors out of it and then make the smart plating. But by the time this is all done, we'll be able to finish off complete phase 1 because it's going to give me 1 and 1. Is it 2 per minute? 1 each gives me 1 smart plate, so 50 and 50. We'll have 50. So that completes the milestone prep for next episode. There we are, which means I'm going to end this episode here. It actually may have run a little bit longer than I intended this time, but I really appreciate you guys watching and enjoying the series. I appreciate the comments and all the new subscribers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 2, and I will see you guys next time for episode 3.